September 1944. The Allies are surging across Europe after the breakout from Normandy. Paris is liberated. The Germans seem on the verge of collapse. Many believe the war could end by Christmas. But one ambitious plan would change everything. Operation Market Garden, a daring airborne assault to seize bridges in Holland and open a path into Germany's industrial heartland. It was called a bridge too far, but behind the failure lies a story of overconfidence, ignored warnings, and a regret that haunted Supreme Allied Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower for years. Today, we're uncovering what Eisenhower regretted most about Market Garden and the critical warning he and his commanders received just 72 hours before the operation began. Let's start with the context. After D-Day, the Allies advanced rapidly. By early September, Patton's Third Army was racing east, but supply lines were stretched thin. The Allies had outrun their logistics. Ports like Cherbourg couldn't keep up. Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery, commander of the British 21st Army Group, saw an opportunity. He proposed a bold thrust: use airborne troops to capture a series of bridges over Dutch rivers, allowing British tanks to drive deep into Germany, bypassing the Siegfried Line and hitting the Ruhr, the Nazi war machine's factory heart. The plan had two parts: Market, the largest airborne operation in history, dropping 3 divisions to seize the bridges; Garden. Montgomery believed this could end the war quickly. He pitched it aggressively to Eisenhower. Eisenhower favored a broad front advance, pushing forward everywhere to keep pressure on the Germans without risking everything on one thrust. But he faced pressures. American generals wanted to use the untried 1st Allied Airborne Army. Montgomery was insistent, and Ike worried about Allied unity. The British public adored Monty. On September 10th, Eisenhower approved Market Garden, but with limited priority, not full supplies, as he still supported advances elsewhere. He later wrote that he not only approved it, he insisted on it, believing the risk was worth it against a supposedly broken enemy. But intelligence was already painting a different picture. Here's where the story gets chilling. Operation Market Garden launched on September 17, 1944. Just 72 hours earlier, around September 14th, 15th, ultra-intelligence from decoded German messages revealed alarming news. The 9th and 10th SS Panzer Divisions, battle-hardened units refitting after Normandy, were in the Arnhem area. Dutch resistance reports and aerial photos confirmed German armor near the key bridge at Arnhem. This directly threatened the British 1st Airborne Division tasked with holding the northernmost bridge. Eisenhower's Chief of Staff, General Walter Bedell Smith, urgently raised concerns with Montgomery. Smith warned that 2 panzer divisions could doom the operation, but Montgomery dismissed it. He believed the Germans were demoralized remnants, incapable of organized resistance. Planners downplayed the intel as possibly exaggerated. Even Lieutenant General Frederick Browning, commanding the Airborne Corps, reportedly said the bridges might be a bridge too far, but pushed ahead anyway. The warning was ignored. Why? Several factors played in. Over-optimism. After rapid advances, Allied commanders underestimated German recovery. Field Marshal Model was reorganizing forces effectively. Momentum. The plan was rushed, conceived, and approved in days. Canceling would waste the airborne opportunity. Ego and rivalry. Montgomery wanted a decisive victory to outshine American generals like Patton. Flawed planning. Drop zones were far from bridges feared anti-aircraft guns. Radios failed. Only 1 lift per day limited reinforcements. The intelligence failure wasn't total lack of info, it was failure to act on it. September 17th. Thousands of parachutes and gliders fill the sky, the largest airborne assault ever. U.S. 101st Airborne secures bridges near Eindhoven. U.S. 82nd takes most at Nijmegen, but delays cost time. British 1st Airborne drops near Arnhem. Only 1 battalion reaches the bridge. John Frost's men hold the north end heroically. But German SS Panzers react fast. The rest of the division is pinned miles away. The Garden element, the armored column, already faces tough going, but a single elevated road, called Hell's Highway, becomes a bottleneck. German counterattacks slow them repeatedly. Weather turns bad, delaying reinforcements. By day 4, Frost's men at Arnhem Bridge are overwhelmed after fierce house-to-house fighting. After 9 days, the Allies withdraw the remnants at Arnhem. Over 17,000 Allied casualties. The British 1st Airborne is nearly destroyed. Only 2,000 of 10,000 escape. The Rhine remains uncrossed. The war drags on into 1945. A salient is created into Holland, but the key objective fails. Worse, delaying clearance of the Scheldt estuary means Antwerp port stays closed longer, worsening supply shortages. What did Eisenhower regret most? In his memoirs, Crusade in Europe and interviews, Eisenhower stood by the decision initially, a calculated risk worth taking, but later reflections show deeper regret. He regretted diverting resources from opening Antwerp, prolonging the supply crisis. He regretted not overriding Montgomery on the intelligence warnings, most poignantly, approving a narrow thrust that contradicted his broad front strategy, partly to appease Montgomery and maintain coalition harmony. Eisenhower knew the Panzer warning was serious, yet deferred to Montgomery. In hindsight, he saw Market Garden as an unnecessary risk. The Germans recovered anyway, leading to the Battle of the Bulge months later. Eisenhower said if the same situation arose, he'd try again, but privately, sources say he viewed it as a mistake driven by optimism and politics. Market Garden was brave, innovative, and tragic. Heroes like Frost's men at Arnhem Bridge inspired the world, but it reminds us, in war, ignoring warnings can cost dearly. What do you think? Was Market Garden a noble gamble or avoidable disaster? Comment below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more WW2 deep dives.